Buju. Asinaabe winini nindijnikas mayingen nindura mikanakawiji wing nindun jaba. So I'm going to do a part 2 to the video. I made the video last night, but there's issues downloading the longer videos. So let's just pick up right where I left off. Last night I was talking about the 7thFire's prophecies, and I had only gotten through the first part of the 7thFire. So let's pick up here. So I'm going to talk about the last part of the 7thFire prophecy, what I think it means, and then I'm going to tell you guys the story of the new Thunderbird. There's a new Thunderbird in town. So let's pick up on the 7thFire here. The book is the Mishomis book. This is the first time that the 7thFire's prophecy was made public. It was written by Edward Benton Benet, who is a head of the Midday Lodge, and he actually passed on in the winter of 2020. I think it's very significant. I think that he was somebody who focused on the prophecy a lot more than other people did. So I'll just read the first part of the 7thFire again to catch you up. And I talked about what I thought that first part meant on the last video. In the time of the 7thFire, a new people will emerge. They will retrace their steps to find what was left by the trail. Their steps will take them to the elders, who they will ask to guide them on their journey, but many of the elders will have fallen asleep. They will awaken to this new time with nothing to offer. Some of the elders will be silent out of fear. Some of the elders will be silent because no one will ask anything of them. The new people will have to be careful in how they approach the elders. The task of the new people will not be easy. So I explained why I think the official time of the 7thFire started on June 21st, 2020, during the summer solstice. And the new people, I talk a lot about this in the other video. It's actually available. I have this new pay-per-view feature. If you go to my bio, there's a series, and you can pay to watch it, but if you're on my Patreon, it's already on there. Okay? The new people are the ones who are not afraid of what their grandparents and their parents are afraid of, and they can be from any walk of life. And I explained how I learned this at a ceremony on the first part of the video. So if you think about what was going on June 21st, 2020, everybody was in the streets from all walks of life, doing things that their parents and grandparents were afraid to do, if you know what I'm saying. So then the next paragraph of the 7thFire says, if the new people will remain strong in their quest, the water drum of the Midewiwin Lodge will again sound its voice. There will be a rebirth of the Anishinaabe nation and a rekindling of old flames. The sacred fire will again be lit. Now, the Midewiwin Lodge is the closed ceremony of the Anishinaabe people. And I personally think that it has something to do with adding a part or changing a part or creating a new ceremony that is open. It is at this time, okay, now this is the last part of the 7thFire's prophecy. It is at this time that the light-skinned race will be given a choice between two roads. If they choose the right road, then the 7thFire will light the 8th and final fire, an eternal fire of peace, love, brotherhood, and sisterhood. If the light-skinned race makes the wrong choice of roads, then the destruction which they brought with them in coming to this country will come back at them and cause much suffering and death to all of the earth's people. And that's it. So you can see how it's very detrimental. And so I actually learned at the ceremonies, and that's about these teachings that I give, and I do is all pertaining to this prophecy. I'm a warrior of the 7thFire's prophecy, and I'm not even kidding. I literally went to the warrior ceremonies. I got initiated. It's a Sundance society that also has the warrior ceremony in it, and that's why I'm here. That's what I'm talking about. So that's why I gear my content, it seems, towards the light skin race, because I'm here to teach them. My message I want to give to all my natives: if you're native, just be native. Just be your beautiful self. Just exist. Follow your instincts. Live your life. Be beautiful. That's it. You don't have to do nothing else. You're in. Okay? It's in your DNA. Your grandparents, your ancestors are literally the spirits of Turtle Island. And whenever you're ready, just open the door. Put out your tobacco, or put out your corn pollen, or go to your ceremony, go ask the medicine man, go talk to your elder, and open the door. You don't need anything. You will be led. That's what it is to have that indigenous connection on Turtle Island. So that's why it seems like I talk more towards the light skin race, because that's where my teachings come from. It mostly is the warrior ceremony based on the 7thFire's prophecy. The warriors of the 7thFire's prophecy are here to help guide the way. So a lot of native tribes have these prophecies about how one day the white people will come back and ask us. And the warriors who are part of those teachings, it's part of our teaching to be ready for when they start asking questions, to teach and to open up and to help them find the way. Because our ways were never about forcing it on anybody. Our ways were never about forceful conversion. It's the effects in your life are the consequences of your actions. It's not like what the Christians say. It's not about hell. It's not about you'll be punished, but like the quality of your life is a result of what spirits you feed. Everybody feeds spirits. Most people are unconscious of the spirits they feed, and it wreaks havoc on their lives until you become aware and you start building a relationship with your helper spirits, your ancestors, your protectors. Then it protects you from the effects of these other negative spirits that are running rampant. These spirits are like the spirits of abuse, the spirits of addiction, the spirits of wanting to take yourself out, the spirits of depression, the spirits of self-degradation, okay? And it causes a lot of different mental health effects. And so getting connected with your ancestors and your helper spirits is really the only surefire way that you can start to actually protect yourself and have a say in the quality of your life, rather than just being a victim to circumstance, rather than just going with the flow, so to speak. Getting in touch with your ancestors and your helper spirits and having them come into your life is what sparks your inspiration, right? The spirits that are in you give you your inspiration. So if you're feeding these other types of spirits and they're the ones that are in you, those are the inspirations you're going to have. If you're feeding the spirit of addiction, you're going to be inspired to go out and do more of that thing. If you're the spirit of greed, you're going to be just focused on getting more and more and more. And if you're feeding your helper spirits, your ancestors, the ones that are here to remind you, who are with you on your life purpose mission, you'll be inspired to do that thing that you're supposed to do. And it has to do with your dreams, it has to do with this memory that you've never experienced. I can just feel it. I know how it's supposed to be. That thing. And so, like, that's why I think it's important. So, the new people of the 7thFire's prophecy, they have this vision. This is how you can tell if you are one. You have this vision where everybody loves each other and works together, and you think that it has to be some community somewhere, some commune, or like a little community that nobody knows about, like hidden in the woods. I'm going to tell you that that's not it. It's supposed to be everywhere. This is the vision of the new people. There is a vision. When you go on your vision quest, when you have your near-death experience, when you have your crazy thing, there's this vision that people can see how, I don't know if it's the potential or the future or a download mission that we like came here to do or something like that. But when you see the vision, it's the same for everybody. They imagine this society and this place and this world where, you know, you have the opportunity to develop your spiritual gifts, and people take care of each other, and it's a place where everyone is safe and happy and stuff like that. And so if you have that vision, you're not crazy. You're one of the new people that's in the prophecies. So there's a lot of fear right now. I'm going to do the second part real quick so I can keep it within a time limit to put it on my series tab also. It has to be under 20 minutes. So, the Thunderbird. I'm a helper. I was a helper at these ceremonies called the Shaky Tent. The Shaky Tent is one of the highest ceremonies in Ojibwe country. Essentially, it's a divination ceremony, and it talks to the spirit of the turtle. The turtle is the spirit of truth. The turtle knows everything. And you can go there and you can ask anything, okay? And then after this ceremony, the medicine man kind of talks to everybody involved in the ceremony and talks about something that he's seen. Well, probably about 6 years ago, maybe 7 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, I've been going to this ceremony for years. In the last 5 years, I was actually one of the main helpers at this ceremony. He talked about how the Western Thunderbird was sick. It was old, and if the Western Thunderbird died before, he was sick from the pollution. He was sick from the effects of colonization, the weather. Okay, there's a grandfather Thunderbird and one in each direction, and they govern the weather. And the Western one got sick. And he said that if it died before the next one was ready, because they do have a lifespan, okay, and then the next one takes its place. But he said if it dies before the next one takes its place, then there will be a big earthquake and the earth will basically shake apart. But I think what happened is the next one got ready, and that's what we're seeing here in the last couple years with the weather, is it's kind of a changing of the guards of the Thunderbirds. The new young Thunderbird got ready, and he took over. And when you see these crazy storms in the last year, it's kind of like when you're a young race car driver and you get into a NASCAR for the very first time. Like, you got to see what this baby can do. You know what I'm saying? So this new young Thunderbird also, it was raised and seen all the effects of colonization, as far as the pollution, as far as the chemicals, as far as all these other things that they try to do to the weather, so he knows how to deal with it. And he's brand new and young and very powerful and energetic. So they're going to lose control of everything they were going to be trying to do with the weather. The weather knows what it's doing. And these chemicals, these pollutants, these different things, they're going to be used to move people out of the way of where they're not supposed to be, okay? There's certain places in America where people aren't supposed to live because the animals are supposed to live there, and they won't get out of the way. Basically, the only thing in the way of life is all of these colonizers taking up space for nothing because of their individual land ownership beliefs about freedom. And that's basically standing in the way of the herds of bison returning and the old growth forest coming back and the flocks of birds that were so great they would black out the sky for 2 hours straight, like all of the fish that were in all the rivers. It's just basically they just take up space with the way they live, and they just own land and they just keep it, and they don't do anything good with it except for cut shit down and sell it. So the Thunderbirds are going to start moving them out of the way. So that's why you got to feast the Thunderbirds every time, always. Add it into your spiritual routine. Feast the Thunderbirds, tell them who you are, tell them what you're doing. When it's thundering outside and there's lightning, go outside and stand in the rain, give a feast to the Thunderbirds, and tell them who you are. And they'll tell you what to do, okay? If they tell you to move, you gotta move. If you don't, there's gonna be, like, the Thunderbirds are the real governors on Earth of life and death, okay? They give life, but they bring destruction. Every time there's a storm, a lot of things could get damaged and destroyed, but there will always be new life that grows afterwards, okay? And sometimes the storm might be so great that it just takes everything out so they can just start a fresh spot, okay? So listen to the Thunderbirds, what they're telling you, and this is how you make it through the next part. And that's the real force right there. The spark. That's what science can't explain. The spark that keeps you alive, the spark that beats your heart, the spark that sparks in your brain when you have ideas. That's how we're all connected. The Thunderbirds can just turn people off like a light switch, and they can bring people to life so hard that they can change the world. So I'm gonna come back in 10 minutes. All right, this is gonna be part 2. It's gonna be on my series thing over here. It's also gonna be on my Patreon. But I'll be back in 10 minutes if you want to hear more. Bring some questions if you want. I'm going to make some dream catchers. Until we meet again, I fare thee well, and may the force be with you. I'll be back in 10 minutes.